man, you can have all this and more. Just hang on tight. We're gonna have all the stinking fun today. I'm telling you what, we got tripod lashings galore. We got camp projects, right? And if that wasn't enough, I'm gonna put a great spin on a classic American breakfast, and then I'm gonna whip something up for dinner. It's gonna make you wanna, it's gonna make you wanna get stoked and slap yourself. It's gonna be so stinky good. If you don't believe me, pay attention to Future Me Now. Go into this bad boy. Oh boy. Oh my God, son, was that not amazing looking? Let's get to this. It's gonna be a great show. Woo-hoo! Welcome back to the channel, man. As always, man, it is really good to see you. So we're back in the Olympic National Forest this time around. Hopefully going to be a really good show for you. So I'm going to show you how you can put a couple things in your kit bag the next time you go out to the bush to make camp life better. And that's what Bushcraft is all about. It's not about surviving, it's about thriving and enjoying yourself, because the more funner that you're having, the more gooder of a time you're going to have. And yes, both of those are both approved words in the Stoker universe. Right, but we're going to show you how you can use a tripod lashing to make all kinds of camp projects the next time you go out. Everything from a couple different styles of pot hangers, wash racks, and not one, but dos raised bed styles. Put that in your back pocket. So it's all gonna be based around some basic pioneering skills. And all pioneering skills really comes down to maybe 5 or 6 knots and 3 lashings. We're gonna be focusing on the tripod lashing and all the things, some of the things that you can build. Time now to get going and having a good time. Hey team, gonna take a short pause and remind you to check down in the description below for a link to any of the gear seen in the video, as well as over a dozen lists on my Amazon influencer page to help you organize and harden your kit. And if you're looking for a deeper connection, including one-on-one instruction, you'll also find a link to my Patreon page featuring 6 levels of membership so you can select the right perk, value, and support that you're looking for. Back to the content. All right, let's get to this. All right, so I measured these poles out about 7 foot, and it should be good for this tripod. Now they are almost wrist size in diameter. Doesn't necessarily have to be that big. But you can do whatever you need. So I'm gonna come down about 8, somewhere right in here should be good. I don't want to come down too far. That's probably one of the key biggest mistakes I've seen people make is making their lashings too far down, and you really want to be able to spread your legs better. So that standard tripod lashing is going to start off with a clove hitch, right? And then we're gonna come around 3 times. Now, one of the things you can do to help make life a little bit easier is to put your working in, put a log or something underneath what you're doing. They don't need to be crazy perfect, but you do want to start off as close as you can. Oh, see, that's much gooder there. So we're going to come around 3 times. These are called wraps. So that's 1, that's 2, and then that's 3. From here we're going to start some fraps. And fraps come down and bind up our wraps. There's no magic rule. I would say, 3 or 4 wraps is going to be fine, and then a couple fraps. So that's 1, that's 2. If I was going to do something that really needed to support some serious weight, I'd probably go 4 wraps and 3 fraps. Sometimes you just got to be a little creative in getting this done. You can use a toggle. That's 1. Boom, and that's 2. Now we're going to finish up. Although you could start with a clove hitch or whatever knot that you wanted to, we're going to always end up with a clove hitch. Boom. All right, so once you get to this point, we can go ahead and stand our tripod up. You always take the center one. Right, you're gonna take our center one and kick that leg out this way and then this way, right? Now the outside leg, all you're gonna do is lay that so that it falls on the inside. It's gonna help form a bite, right? So from here, we can do all kinds of projects. I'm gonna use this for a fire tripod here in a second because I'm hungry and I need to eat some breakfast. From emergency shelters, pot hangers, man, you name it, you dream it, wash racks, all kinds of stuff. We can start doing this right now. Right, so using some 550 cord or some paracord in a simple running loop. You could use a bowline. I just tied a figure 8 knot, wrap it around this. And then so combine that with a taut line wrapped around your pot, and you can raise and lower the pot as you need to until you get your water boiling. So while this does come to a boil, I'm going to take down some more trees so we can work on some more projects, and then we're going to have some breakfast. You know, it doesn't have to be fancy to be good, does it? So I'm going to get, I already got it going. I'm going to show you how to one-up that pot hanger that I just did, so it'll be a little bit easier for you. And then we'll work on another pot hanger. And then some raised bed solutions for you. So you can use this to work into tables, just all kinds of projects. I'm also, while we're out here, I got, although this is a simple breakfast, imagine this if you will. Cheese stuffed, bacon wrapped bratwurst, stuffed right in the middle of a pepper, served on a fresh bun. Now we're talking. So it should be a pretty good show. Hope you enjoy it. Make sure you leave some comments down below. You're going to be seeing a ton of gear. All I can tell you is look down in my description for a link over to my Amazon influencer page. You'll find everything, almost everything that you're going to see here. Whether it's in regards to food, fire, water, shelter, first aid, navigation, communication, maintaining the core body temperature, man, you name it, there's stuff there. So then just a few minutes, you know, we got a fire going, and as soon as I got the pot over the fire, I went out and I found a dead, and it was really, really close to the spot, a dead standing birch. So I went ahead and took that down. I got 3 more pieces. We'll get lashed up here in a second. But, you know, in so doing so, it does a couple things. One, after I delimit, that gives me a little bit of fire start material for the next fire, right? B, birch makes great firewood, right? The actual bark itself. So kind of dual bang for the buck. And while I'm eating my breakfast, I got a pot back on the fire that's getting ready to boil so I can clean up my dish. You know, on that note, you know, you want to make sure when you're out camping, whether you're solo hiking or backpacking, or just doing some bushcraft nearby, or camping out with your family, never do your cleanup right next to camp, because you're gonna have all kinds of food and stuff. And I don't know about where you live, but we got lots of animals nearby, some of which will eat you. So I'm gonna finish my breakfast, and we'll get this cleaned up, and then we'll start working on the next project. By the way, it's only about 80 degrees right now, and I just drove up, another Forest Service road, and bam, found this beautiful, amazing spot here. So I'm totally stoked. Right, so just finished up eating chow, and now this water's getting ready to boil, and I'm gonna get some stuff cleaned up. But I did want to show you pot hanger number 2, dos y dos. Right, so on pot hanger number 1 had a taut line, and the handle of my pot was sitting inside there, right? So what that meant was I had to untie my knot in order to get the pot off. So if you don't want to do that, just tie a taut line and then take a small stick, call it a doggle, call it a toggle, I don't care. And then what you're going to do is you're going to tie a lark's head. Right, so just take your loop and work it right over itself like this. So you have a couple loop-de-loops there, and then you can take a small stick. Nature provided, it's free. You can call it a doggle, you can call it a toggle, I don't even care. And then tighten it down, and you're gonna have a nice lark's head as such, right? Now take your pot and feed the doggle through the pot handle as such. Now you can put it right back over the fire, and you can still raise and lower it just like before. And then when you need to take it off, you just take that toggle, feed it back underneath, and bam, it's money in the bank. All right, so I went ahead and replaced my doggle, and you know, I should get a lot less junk down in my water. And looks like she's boiling okay. So I'm gonna pull this off and get my pot cleaned up, my bowl cleaned up. One thing I will tell you is only boil enough water that you need, because if I was trying to boil this whole pot, man, it would just take forever and I need much larger fire. So I only had enough water in here that I needed to actually go ahead and do the chore that I needed to. That way it saves energy from not boiling more fuel than I needed to, as well as, you know, I mean, I'm not gonna waste the water. So what can I do with the hot water other than, you know, take care of my dishes? Right, probably more than we think. So good hot water, I need to think about hygiene as well, right? Something that we probably don't talk enough about when it comes to bushcrafting and camping and things of this nature. But you know, being able to wash your face, being able to wash your body with some good hot water, man, that's life changing. Right, so I went ahead and lashed up a cross bracing here on the tripod, and then shaved off, just using my hatchet, just shaved off a little bit on both sides, right, a little bit on both sides. And then went out and cut a young maple. Was not looking too good, but I was very particular. Obviously this was originally growing up like this, and it had a branch coming off as such, and I wanted to make sure that I had from there to there I was going to be able to do good, because I'm going to end up turning this back upside around like this, and we're going to make an adjustable pot hanger. So we have a high temp setting and a low temp setting. Let's do this. Right, so this branch will hold my pot or my kettle, whatever it is I'm going to put on the fire. And then on the same side, I'm going to cut in some V branches, some V notches, if you will. And to do that, I'm going to start off using my Laplander, and I'm going to just cut a couple X's here. Better to not go too deep right off the bat. You can always cut more if you need to. We'll see how well this works. I do have that knot right there that may do me a solid, or it may not. And then after you have it cut in, and we're going to cut these guys out to begin with. So a lot of times the easiest way to get this going is just to put in a knife in the corner here and then crack that up. Now, I am by no means a master woodworker, craftsman of any kind. So we kind of end up with an X there, right? And that's the start. So there are plenty of dudes who are out there who are a lot better than this that I am. So I'm actually going to use my hatchet, which is a Grand Force Brook small forest axe, and I'm going to cut down. It's just going to be a lot easier to get this started with doing some of the rough cutting as such. Sometimes I'm chopping, and sometimes I'm shaving, if that makes sense. From here I'm going to start in using my knife, start cutting some of this out. Till we get a beak form like this, and then it's going to sit right on that pot. So this is my cool level, so I need to get a, well, that's my warm level, so I need to get a cool level set in somewhere up in here. So we're going to do the same thing. Cut in an X. It's just a little Essie Azula 2. It's just a neck knife is all it is. Point being, I think, is use what you got. And boom. So we'll go measure this, but that should be good for our high temp. That's like a 10 on the stove scale. And then our low temp, and that should be maybe a 4. All right, so here's our low to medium temp, just pretty decent height. And then here's our ultra high temp. All right, so we'll get another fire going here, and I'll show you how this pot will work. All right, and as this thing goes, I'm gonna get it going pretty good so I can get a good bed of coals down. Oh yeah. All right, so we got our medium temp there, right? And if we need to go a little bit lower, maybe just get it off to the side, but keep it kind of close. Bam, money in the bank. So nothing says being out in the field like a cup of cowboy coffee. You got some fresh ground coffee. I don't care how hot it is. Coffee's always right for the time of day. Right, and the other benefit of having this horizontal piece here on the frame is that I can use it to hang towels or washcloths or let stuff dry out here close to the fire. And it's just good all around kitchen. That's what I'm talking about. You could get crazy and fancier and bringing in more pieces and then making a table on the top. You can actually make this larger and make it into an actual bench. How dope would that be? Right, so the next thing we're gonna do is just go ahead and build a tripod, and I'm gonna de-limb these guys. Something I'd rather do now before I have it all put together than later when I find something that bangs into my head or something like that, you know what I'm saying? That'd be no bueno. Next tripod coming up. All right. Same thing again. We're gonna take our middle section, we're gonna kick it out, and we'll take the one that's on our side, kick it out towards us, and then it'll help seat it right. All right, so for this one, we did use 550 cord instead of some natural fiber, but it doesn't matter what the material is that we're using. I did do 4 wraps on this one and 3 wraps. Now I need 2 more pieces. We're gonna need a couple pieces, maybe 9 feet long, so let's go get busy. All right, so I found a maple that had a couple of live branches on it, but it was obviously that it was dying. Very top of it was totally dead, and most of the branches were gone, so she didn't have a lot of life left. So this is gonna be perfect. So finish getting this fire going, make some lunch, and then we'll get our raised bed taken care of. Oh yeah. Right, now that we got some good coals going, step 1, start cooking that brat. All right, and as that bad boy is cooking, we're gonna start roasting some peppers. Slice right down the old middle, stuff it with cheese, and then wrap this bad boy in some good old American bacon. Return to the grill. All right, so we're gonna take this pepper. Ooh, still so nice and toasty. Cut it a long ways. We want a little bit of kick in here. Slice up some of these bad boys. Put them in long ways. Just a little kicky kick, that's all. Right? Take that whole thing, And would you look at that? Would you look at that? Oh, that is beautiful. Let's chow into this bad boy. Oh boy. I can do this every day. I did make a key mistake in prepping this. I didn't bring a beer. You have got to try this and let me know what you think. We'll chase this down with some water, get cleaned up a little bit because I made a total mess of myself. And we'll get this raised bed put together. All right, so I guess we'll go ahead and get this thing going. So I'm going to take this back tripod over here, put her in line right about there. Maybe bring her over a little bit. We'll get this dude moved. All right, now we're going to get these poles lashed up and we'll get it from there. Right, so in its current configuration, it's a little wide for a bed. I don't know if I need anything this big, and it was maybe a double. What? But I could make something this wide, and then run a couple more runners here, and then actually make a table top. I can actually make a bench, right? That'd be pretty dope. So we're gonna collapse this back up a little bit, and then we'll finish our bed, and we'll go at it from there. You know, I didn't like how this guy felt, so we're gonna dump her and go get us a new one. I think she'll do just fine. Right, boom, there we go. So now we got a couple options. I can take a poncho or a tarp and we can make some magic out of this guy. Right, so this is the same way that we might make an emergency stretcher out in the field using a couple logs and a blanket or a poncho or a tarp or whatever it is, and we just let gravity do the work. And take a nap right here. Right, so one of the key benefits of a raised bed like this is it is going to let airflow up underneath, which is going to be really good on a hot, humid, muggy like tonight is probably going to be, and probably the rest of the summer. So I think it's not too bad. It's a really good option. It's extremely comfortable laying down there. I could have napped just for like the last 4 hours. You wouldn't even know. Felt so good. Of course, we don't always have the exact same options every single time. So another key, super easy way. All right, now it's a matter of making them look like they're in formation, from biggest to smallest. Fall in, you little dudes. These dudes down here. Right, so the beauty is, with just a little pressure down here on this guy, she's going to hold this all together. Right, and put down your favorite bed covering, put some overhead tarp if you got a chance of rain, and you are good to go. Hey, I hope you enjoyed the content of the video, man. If you did, make sure you like it, subscribe to the channel, leave some comments down below, and we will keep this conversation rolling. And as always, until then, you stay stoked. Man, then it is adios, good night, sayonara. She signed out for the day. Oh yeah.